All right, Danielle, well, here we are again, back in the live stream booth at AAMI eXchange.
Yes, back for more.
Yeah, and we just came out of a pretty literally rock and roll session with Scott Bloom on the main stage. That was kind of fun.
Yeah, it was amazing. It was so funny. I was laughing from ear to ear. My face hurts now, actually, from being there.
And you and I were alone backstage because we were the last two, and singing and dancing, and thank Lord there's no cameras back there. So
no one wants to see that.
Awful. So, all right, we're going to jump right into it. So, this is our what year doing the live stream? Second or third year, or something like that. We've been doing it for a while.
I was going to say 4 because we did live at AAMI eXchange in 2021.
Right. That's
We've been
right.
at this
It goes
for a bit
all the way
now.
back.
Yes.
That's true. And for the last several years, we have had the sponsorship and support, which we're greatly appreciative of GE Healthcare. So we have two special guests here right now, Aaron Gorel and Chris Clausen. Welcome.
Good.
Good
Thanks
to
for
be
having
here.
us.
Thank you so much for supporting this activity. It's fantastic for folks that can't be here.
Yeah.
You know, gives us a chance and to talk to thought leaders like you. And then later today, we've got a couple of roving reporters on the expo floor.
Yes, it'll be coming live from booths, doing live show and tell.
Very
so
cool.
it'll be super neat.
And we couldn't do that without your support. And you guys support AAMI eXchange in so many ways. Your big presence here, the studio that you support. We just did our first, actually, AAMI New Product Spotlight.
Yes.
And you were the host of that.
Yes.
Yeah, and that was
Ready
a
C
GE,
product.
the Ready C
Yes.
product. So there should be about 15,000 HTM folks that learned about that in the last week or so. So that's exciting. So we're just so grateful for everything you do with AAMI. And thank you.
Yes, thank you for all your support.
And you guys, I assume, come to Exchange every year because there's a lot of HTM leaders here. A lot of thought leaders. What are you guys doing in the area of supporting those HTM leaders? Tell us what's new this year.
Yeah, we'll jump into it. I started coming to AAMI way back in the 1900s, so my gray hair kind of represents my age too. But it's been an exciting show for us for a number of years. And about 10 years, and last year we were sitting right here with you, and we launched our Unite channel partners and also our Unite in-house service solutions. So
cool, yeah.
we were very excited about it. So it's been an exciting year for a number of
Do we
reasons.
get another scoop? Do you have something to
Yeah,
launch
you're revealing
today?
something right here live on air.
We may have a little bit.
Oh, that's very all right.
see if
I
we
want
can
to
weave
jump
it in.
ahead.
Yeah.
So HTM leaders, tell us
Yeah,
about
so the
that.
HTM leaders. And so what's interesting is, about 10 years ago, a decade ago, we started working with HTM leaders and their teams much differently. And we organized a team and a portion of our business to really focus on supporting HTM and in-house. And we started kind of the foundation of what we did for the last decade was really around our parts, productivity tools, and support services. So last year when we launched Unite, we were excited because now we had a name, right? And you had a brand and something to call it. So the year's been exciting for us because customers have had something to attach to and identify with the things that we've been providing. But also internally, it's been helping us with a lot of our investments. So Ready C and other things that you've seen really designed to help solve for many of the challenges within the HTM space. So incredibly exciting time for us in that regard. But one thing that we're seeing in the market in particular, what they're looking for, and Chris will get into some of this and their challenges, but what they're really eager for right now seems to be people who will listen, partners who will sit at the table with them and really understand the unique needs that our customers are facing. And there's a number of them, right? So our objective is really to continue to invest in this space, to create transformational service solutions and find ways that we can just help them beyond just productivity, but data and analytics in other areas. So we'll get into some of that today.
Yeah. And you've talked a lot. We've talked a lot all collectively about the barriers, kind of some of the challenges that folks face, especially HTM leaders. What are the top subjects today that people are up against?
There's no shortage of them, right? And certainly HTM leaders are largely here to figure out how to solve and deal with the ever-changing challenges and barriers that they face. And so we hear that. And probably top or near top of the list is, what do we do about our workforce? More folks are leaving healthcare. Engineers are retiring, and you're losing such a knowledge base of expertise, right? So how do we replace that? And then the folks coming into the workforce are so different. The way they learn, we were talking earlier about the kind of the TikTok, YouTube generation, 60 seconds of focus, and so you've got to approach that knowledge transfer in a completely different way than ever before. So we're thinking about that. We're hearing about that, and while we're doing all of this, adapting and changing the workforce, the needs of our clinical customers haven't changed, and the demands, if anything, are speeding up and getting more high stakes for our customers and partners. And so trying to help support that, with the training that we provide and the tools that we provide is so vital. But those are big challenges. And kind of along those lines, other things that we hear and see are around, not only is the workforce changing rapidly and in a disrupted way, but technology, the velocity of innovation, it just continues to speed up.
Disruptive.
Right? It's disruptive. And so how do we think about, bringing more simplicity to complexity, right? How do we do things that get software, out to these engineers and teams that are supporting? How do we think differently about security and the vulnerabilities? And now that IT is way more, kind of focused in on the HTM programs and how they're being run. And then how do we train in these different ways, right? How do we deliver that knowledge object to the field? And really, what we're hearing, as Aaron mentioned, just the need for OEMs to continue to partner to provide the resources, right? You're making this technology. Right. How does it, get into the hands of the field team supporting it to be able to take care of it? So, in short, we just, the service requests, they continue to be relentless. The demands on the HTM, leaders, clinician, clinical engineers, biomeds. It just, it's not going away. And then technology's evolving, and resources, of course, are constrained. And then, oh, by the way, we've got to keep pace with care. So.
A lot.
It goes on and on.
It's a lot. It goes on, and that's a short list of a very long list, right?
And a lot of those match up with things that you were talking about on stage today, Danielle.
Absolutely, and I think those align with all of our strategic goals at AAMI, right? Aging workforce, pipeline, good succession planning, and quality service. So I think it totally all aligns.
Yeah.
Right. So you've been building out lots of tools and programs at AAMI to help address that problem. But what are you guys doing at GE in terms of new tools or services? We're digging for that new announcement. Maybe
I know.
If there's
fishing
if there's
hard.
not, it's okay. It's fine. We'll be okay with that. But what are the sort of new things on the horizon?
Yeah. So when we think about developing or bringing new tools and technologies to the market, we're really thinking about three things. One, what are we doing right now that we've got to do better? How do we make it less friction? How do we get it in a way that's easier to access? With speed so we're constantly going back to the drawing board on things we already do to try to improve those to improve those things. And secondly, we think about right now we're thinking about where do we invest? What are emerging technologies we've got to attach ourselves to, or find a way to bring out ourselves to the market. And then thirdly, we're thinking about data. How do we get more insights from the data that we're gathering? And all of us know there's such a vast, underutilized amount of data in our healthcare environment and in the HTM space. So how do we bring more meaningful insights? So some of the things specifically we're highlighting on the floor here at AAMI are things like advanced visual support. And what that is video conferencing, if you will, live stream to an engineer turning a wrench at a machine. And it's HIPAA compliant. So, when an
That's
engineer.
riveting.
It is. And actually this last year at AAMI, it was Best in Show from Better Biomed. Justin was out there looking at it, show me this or that. And there's a lot of following. And we saw that driving outcomes for our GE field teams. And we said, we got to get this in the hands of our in-house partnerships. And so we did. We said, hey, we're making advanced visual support available. So an engineer's in the field, turning a wrench, responding to a problem, they say, I just need an extra set of eyes. I'm going to call and initiate an advanced visual support call. Engineer, with 20 years of experience can see what they're seeing.
That's amazing.
Help them point to that thing. It saves so much time. Yeah, and so you just think the getting that thing back up to use faster, identifying the right part quicker, getting that part moving to the field faster. We're really excited about the outcomes. And so that's a tool that we've got here that we're continuing to invest in. So that's one of them that we're very excited about. Another thing that we continue to invest is how do we get not just proactive, but how do we get predictive in our technology? So we've been building into our technologies our engineers are developing algorithms and, putting, sensors and doing all kinds of exciting things to say, if we could predict failure before it happens, that's a game changer for the field. So we've already been, now several years into our on-watch, tube-watch journey, and now we have MR Predict, and it's our roadmap for our other technologies to say, hey, we want to notify the field days in advance of a failure so that you can, again, get that part being ordered, en route. I can schedule downtime. I don't have to go code red over the weekend. All of that our field teams just need us to support. So those are a couple things. And then lastly, one of the exciting things that we're doing is around how do we extend the life cycle of your technology investment? So how do we bring field upgrades to technology that maybe lower costs of construction, avoid rip and replace? What can we do to honestly just be good stewards of the investment that our customers are making and, collectively our industry and our environment? How can we get more life? And we know magnets last a long time, so can we upgrade around a magnet? And so we're doing things like that again, that our customers are saying, thank you for doing this. And meeting us where our need is in this capital constraint. And again, as people are trained as well, just, hey, you can use your expertise longer on the assets that you're supporting. So those are a few things, and I could keep going on and on and on, but those are things we're hearing really delighting our customers.
A lot of investment and I want to get the brand right, the GE Unite shared service. I mean, it's just
that's our umbrella. It is.
And that's what we talked about last year.
That's right.
Was getting that in place.
That's right.
So this sounds a lot like, Danielle, we always talk about all the stakeholders, the manufacturers, independent service organizations, the in-house HTM department. This is an example of, in the case of GE Healthcare, they're all three, or they're two, and they're supporting the third seamlessly. It's sort of the idyllic outcome that we're looking for, where everyone's working together.
And what I love about what you said is it increases patient access, right? You think of that small critical access hospital, their magnet goes down. It may take hours if depending
no redundancy.
And that affects patient care. And the fact that you can have someone call in and walk through some remediary steps, or even just get a second opinion, it improves access, and and that can that makes it better at the end, and the patient experience. And so, kudos to you all for all that you're doing in the collaborative work, like bringing together those three isolated, entities, the ISOs, the OEMs, and the in-house self-ops.
If I could add something that is new for us this year is...
Here we go.
You got to go? First time.
No, here we go.
Here we go.
We want to scoop.
Yes. I think your comments are exactly right. No one entity can solve it alone and all the challenges, so we have to come together. And that's what we're encouraging our customers to do with us and with AAMI in collaboration with you all. But this is the first time at AAMI or any GE booth that I can really recall that we have competitors that would be traditionally considered competitors that are now sitting in the booth with us. So over the next 2 days.
That's so nice.
And these are our traditional competitors that have gone through the Unite process, Unite channel partner process, our supplier qualifications, and now we support them very much like we would our traditional healthcare provider HTMs. So it's exciting time. It's new for us, and so they'll be sitting right along us. We have a whole section called vendor or our channel partners and collaborators. So they're actually going to be stationed in our booth for the next 2 days.
Fantastic.
Yep.
It's like a little ecosystem all in one space. Yep. That's very cool.
Yes.
Very cool.
So where can everyone find you? What booth are you in?
We're in 411.
411. So everyone should get out to booth 411 and check this out.
There you go. Well,
GE
I'll look forward to swinging by and seeing you.
Yes, we'll definitely stop by
later
and
in the
see you.
show. And we appreciate everything you guys do.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. And we'll see what you bring next year. It's
Great.
always
Thank you.
interesting. So thank you so much.
Thank you. We're so grateful.
All right, now get out. Now we are kicking you out.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thank you so much. And even after you go, your logo is everywhere. It's all over the glass walls, and so you're still here with us all day. Thank you so much.
Thank
We
you.
appreciate it. All right, Danielle. There's 87 copies of the schedule, of which none I have access to at the moment. So get your handy whiz-bang communicator device out and tell me who we're talking to next.
We are talking to...
Why does tech never work?
It was the golf winner.
Our golf winners?
Yeah.
Oh.
Are they here?
Are they here? Peyton? Darren? I think we're all alone in the world.
If not, Chase is next.
We're like in a
cut over to Chase.
we're like in a
quick.
little fishbowl, isolated and alone. What happened? Our whole staff ran away. Huh? Well, you want to go with Chase? Huh?
Let's move Chase on in, yeah.
Okay.
I don't see anyone that looks
All
like
right.
they golfed around
I don't see any
here.
golfers. I don't see any golfers. Chase, come on in here, man. By the time we do this for 5 or more years, we'll have this down. Come on in. You get to pick a side, wherever you feel most comfortable.
Get the lights on and get my good side.
There you go. I was thinking about, that's funny you say that. I was thinking about that and thinking, because we talked about we were going to change our seating arrangement. And it occurred to me, I don't know if I even have a good side. I was like, I should be selecting
Well, tomorrow
like some
you can sit on the
optimal-
other side.
Do you
and
have a
can
good
compare.
side?
I'm not really sure. I
Yeah,
don't
we're going to
know.
have to talk about
We'll have to
that. So
figure
get your
out.
headphones on there, and then you'll be dialed in.
Yes.
Nice.
I'm kind of a tech nerd, so I always
Are
look
you?
at the mic. Well, yeah, I got
You're trying to see which headphones those are, huh?
I got I got my setup at home, so I'm
Are they
just,
okay? Do they pass?
Is it good gear?
You think we're...
I can hear you fine, so
Okay.
it's all that matters.
Yeah, that was
Oh,
a
that
neutral
was,
comment.
yeah.
Guys, we pay a lot of money for these headphones. We want the best. What's going? What do you have? You have like Sennheiser at home, or what do you have? What's your gear?
I would need to double check. I got a
okay.
few of them.
No plugs. You
Yeah.
don't take you don't give the plug unless you're getting compensated.
neutral, just
That's
like
how it works.
Amy.
Yeah,
We
there
can't
you go.
endorse any
All right, so
products
come on,
either.
kick us off here, Danielle. We're talking about all
We're
this stuff.
talking to Chase Torres,
I know.
author, podcaster, and most importantly, our GE Healthcare BMET of the Year.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, Chase. Oh my goodness.
When did you find out you were BMET of the Year?
It was about a couple months ago.
Yeah.
And I kept it quiet.
Yeah,
It was
you
a
did
secret
good
between
job.
us. 'Cause we actually, funny story, he had me on his podcast and we were going
remember.
through oh my God, AAMI resources. And I started congratulating him, and then we realized it wasn't public. So he had to hide that podcast until it was a public announcement.
It was in the chamber. It was ready to go.
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
ready.
you need a few in the in reserve. So
Good thing we didn't blow it.
Well, that must have been a pretty exciting feeling to find out, though.
It surprised me, to be honest, just because just the fact that I can probably think of many people that I would also nominate for it as well.
Right.
I nominated a couple people for it myself. So.
Right. There you go.
Oh, you're so
Yeah.
selfless.
There you go.
And
There you go.
we discuss it, with some of our committees and whatnot, and your name just came up so many times, and I knew multiple people were submitting a package for you, and to keep that a secret every time I talk to you, and obviously we have no say as AAMI staff who wins, but when we heard you won, I couldn't imagine anyone better at this year. with all
The
you do.
funny part of the conference is since yesterday and today, I just had people walking up to me like, "Hey, I nominated you."
Oh, everyone takes
And
credit
now
for a
everyone's
win.
going to take.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
can verify if they're really true.
Yeah, we'll do
I
the
just thought
back.
that was funny.
Yeah. Hundreds of people did that. Yeah. So yeah, go ahead.
So, your resume is extensive, right? So, you served our country. Thank you for your
that.
service.
Thank you.
And you are the host of the Bearded Biomed podcast. You want to talk a little bit about
How
that?
did you come up with that name? It's a mysterious
Yes.
name with.
So, what's funny is I had my bachelor's in business, and part of that is you get a little bit of marketing. And,
Yeah.
when it comes to marketing in general, I just think of I want something that sticks with people, that has alliteration, rolls off the tongue, is catchy, and the branding aspect of it. Being baby-faced for 8 years in the military, you tend to not ever want to do that again. So I grew out the beard, and
So the beard came before the name, or the name came? You're like, I got to do this.
Oh, I
and then
had
you
the
grew-
beard.
You had
Yeah.
the beard already. All right. So the beard is not cynical. The beard was not grown as a marketing tactic.
Oh, no,
You already had
absolutely
the
not.
beard.
The
Okay.
wife would never
It's a
let me shave
sincere-
it.
It's a sincere beard.
Absolutely.
Okay. All right.
it is a
very good.
proverbial everlasting beard. But
Wait till you turn gray. She'll
Yeah, I
let
was
you
gonna- I was
shave
just gonna
it.
say the same
I've
thing.
lived this. Yeah, she'll be like, you look 100 years
Jeff
old. Shave
Ruiz
that thing
has a
off your
pretty
face."
good gray beard.
I was going
so
to say,
it's
Jeff
awesome.
has a nice beard. It's funny. I worked with Jeff before he had a beard. So, I've, seen it grow out over time.
Yeah, every time we see each other, we compliment each other's beards. It's like a weird thing we have now.
It's the beard club. It's the beard club. All right. So in addition to the beard, tell us about the podcast.
So the podcast grew out of the simple fact of I think a lot with my career is I think of legacy, I think of impact, I think of contribution. And at the present time, I was a frequent subscriber to Justin Better Biomed, what he does, Sherrill's podcast with, MMS. And, there wasn't really any other options out there at the time. And I thought, well, am I just going to sit back and angst and the fact that we don't have a lot of media presence and, besides what you guys are doing, obviously. And I just thought I need to take it upon myself to build awareness, spread the message, maybe be kind of a beacon for a lot of the newer generation folks coming in that have questions, which has probably been the most rewarding aspect of it. I get emails, messages all the time from folks around the world or, recent graduates or what do I need to do? This is, what would you recommend? This is what I want to do with my career, this and that. And I get to help lead that next generation. So that's been the rewarding aspect of it. When I first started it, I had a father and a son approach me. He's like, the father was a career changer and the son was looking to find a career. And they both decided, they said, hey, we saw one of your episodes and we both decided to go after biomed.
Oh, isn't that so nice?
Like that was, and that was when I first started.
Fact, yeah.
So from that point, it's grown and I'm still in awe of just how it's gone thus far, because now I'm sitting in this booth with you guys.
There you go.
And it's, you're so humble, right? I just, and I really, and I know I've said this before, but in my opinion, you are just such a true leader. Leaders find solutions to problems and execute, right? They don't just complain. They find that solution and they get it done. And you are just the sheer example of that. And transcending forward, you also found another issue, right? That there's no children's books in biomed out there. So you also took it upon yourself. Yeah, there's 2 now. We'll be talking to Jennifer tomorrow. You took it upon yourself to write your children's book. So why don't you talk a little bit about Ollie? Did you bring a book with you by chance?
I didn't. There'll be plenty around.
You want to hold it up on camera?
We'll cut it in
post. We'll
Gotcha.
put an image in.
Oh wait, we're
the
live.
beauty of the post edit.
Yeah.
But the idea of the book is, it's always been something that I easily recognized that wasn't out there. And then I see the endeavor that you did with reaching out to high school students and career changers. And, by the time that you're in that space, you've either already been in a career space or you're looking and have made your decision on where you're going to go. And we really need to reach the younger generation before their, elementary, middle school, to really just implant in them that this is an option, that it's out there. It doesn't just have to be doctor, nurse, firefighter, police officer.
Teacher,
the stuff that we all
Things
have
that people
known.
see regularly, right?
If you don't see it, you don't know.
Yes.
And the idea of it really just translated to, I need to make something relatable and easy to digest and funny. If it's funny, most people are going to pay attention to it. So it was just something that I'd always bounce back and forth between my dad. And then when my dad passed, then I had, that moment of reflection. And I was like, well, we've talked about it. I'm just going to do it. At that time, I knew I was expecting. Me and the wife had picked a name. We named him Oliver. And I thought, well, Ollie the Biomed rolls off the tongue. Back to the marketing thing. So
There you go.
So sweet.
In a span from mid-October to mid-February, I wrote, illustrated, published the book.
Wow.
Unbelievable.
And looking back on it, I don't think that would be possible again, just because I was, I would work full day at biomed, come home and stay up till the middle of the night trying to make defib rhyme with something.
Crib. I don't know what.
And I have to say, my daughter loves your book. She's 5, and we read it, and she often goes in her room at night and says, "Can we read this?" So it's not even just like I'm pushing on her. Like, she is requesting that book, and she loves it. So, and many other of my family members have been asked to read it to her. So not only are you spreading it to children, but like obviously I spend time explaining to my family what I do, right? Now they're reading this and they're understanding. So like your reach is far more than you probably ever even imagined.
Well, it's had a trifold effect. So there's the effect of parents being able to share with their children what mom and dad do. It's had the effect of people, or from either folks or myself donating the book to children's hospitals, book clubs, stuff like that, to put it out there for kids to learn about it. And then it's also had the effect of just inspiring others, like you'll have Jennifer on.
Yes.
Now we have 2 children's books about the biomed space.
In a male and a female.
Exactly.
And 2 different ethnicities. I feel like it's just showing the how diverse we are, and it appeals to all different folks.
And that's the whole reason, to inspire others to want to do it, because biomeds are inherently, very introvert. Not everybody has the will or the wants to put themselves out there.
Right.
So just by me doing something and getting other people active in the community, that's, it's already rewarding at that point.
It's amazing.
And my favorite quote is, people don't believe they can be what they can't see. And I think
That's
that
very true.
sums up everything that you've done and what you've accomplished.
Yeah.
And you will be here on Father's Day
I will.
signing these books, right? We have over
Right.
200 of them to hand out.
I am ready for carpal tunnel.
That's one of the job hazards. So so Sunday we've opened the expo floor for parents that want to bring their children, mothers
and
or
over.
fathers.
Yes.
6 and
Any
over. 6 and
caregivers.
over.
Yes.
Everyone hear that? 6 and over. To come to the expo floor, because you can't take your kids to work usually in this field.
Yeah.
Right.
So now they can come to the expo floor, see what mom and dad do, and then meet a famous author now. Get
Yes,
a book
and 2
signed.
authors,
So-
because Jennifer will be
Jennifer
there
will
with
be
him
there
as
as
well,
well,
and we'll
yeah.
talk to her tomorrow.
that
but
is very
yes,
cool.
and she's
Very, very
bringing
cool.
coloring books.
Oh,
And-
did you bring coloring books?
I did not bring coloring
Oh,
books,
see,
but
the authors compete on these things.
I did bring holographic Ollie the Biomed stickers.
That's
Oh,
pretty
kids love
cool.
stickers, I'm telling
Can
you.
I get one of those for the laptop?
Yes.
Yeah, probably.
All right, I'll
And can I
swing
get one
by.
for my daughter?
I'll swing
I
by.
can always. Well, actually, I have some pins I can give you. I got little Ollie Biomed pins.
Oh,
that's
so
pretty
sweet.
good. Well, listen, thank you for everything you do.
Yes, and
Super excited.
congratulations.
Congratulations on the award, and we look forward to seeing you on the floor.
You'll
Yes.
see me soon. I appreciate all y'all's support, and I look forward to keep doing things that just kind of help enrich and grow this field.
And we
Fantastic.
appreciate all your support of AAMI and everything you
Yeah.
do. So thank you, Tate.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
We're going to find ways to support you as well. So.
Yes.
All right, so get out. I haven't found a graceful way to do this.
So
Doesn't that work pretty good?
Yeah.
No, it's terrible. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you, Tate.
And you're a Houstonian, right? Are you in Texas? Where? Houston? Dallas. Oh, Dallas. Okay. All right. Well, I'm from Houston. Okay, fine. Thank you, man. I know. I think I like your weather a little better than ours. So, all right. Now, who's next? Who do we have next?
Bryant and 115.
Oh, fantastic. All right.
then
So
they're
we're
gonna come in.
Okay.
And then-
Perfect.
yeah.
You're a good producer. You know that?
Thank you.
You're really good. All right. So we're going to go out to the field now. Take it away. Show us something cool.
Hey, this is Brian Hawkins. I am the roving reporter for AAMI eXchange, and I'm here on the expo floor. And I'm sitting here with Mr. Tim Coles, who is with Technical Life Care. How you doing today, Tim?
I'm doing great. Thank you.
Great. I'm here to talk about TechMaster Card 3.0. What's the innovation behind this card?
Great question. I get that a lot. It all started, being a veteran in clinical engineering for the last 32 years as a biomed. The biggest struggle I had throughout those 32 years was the quality of not what I did, but how I got service, delivered, and pushing, a low-grade, dirty cart unorganized into a patient room, an OR room, really sunk in, right? It's not safe, it's not clean. So that's what inspired the design and innovation of these carts.
Okay. Well, let's take a look at one of these cards here.
Sure, let's take a look at this. So we built the one and only strong 1-inch top, 1-inch bottom cart, completely customizable. So we can take any tools, laser engrave, and keep them nice and clean for you, right? If you're missing a tool at the end of the day, right, you're going to see it. Tools are expensive, real expensive, and this is stuff we use on a day-to-day. We've got organizers. We have wall mount or mounting hardware for laptops, iPads, cell phones, and the configuration now is unlimited. We have A carts, B carts. We can make specialized carts. We've got junior carts that are smaller. People are making PM carts out of these things. People are asking for corner pieces, right? And most importantly, what you're looking at are the cleanest, most quietest cart in healthcare. Most healthcare facilities now have a decimal sound policy. This one beats all of them by half. Without a doubt, it's a quiet cart. It's not rattling, and it's safe. Completely locks with a RFID lock, right? Or push button, and the rear access panel also locks. We also have, accessories like the UPS that will literally run this cart all day long. At the end of the day, right, you're done, you plug it in because all your expensive test equipment that's already needs to be required to charge for the next day can all plug in, and there's power management wrapped up as well.
Now, the carts are out there in the industry. Everyone loves them. What's the next step for the TechMaster 3.0? Is there a 4.0 in the works?
There's not a 4.0. This is our Everlast. These carts will last you 20 years easily. Environmentally, they're safe. They can be cleaned. ORs love them. But what we're noticing in healthcare as you look around here is people are specializing and they want to be mobile. Campuses are getting very tall and very wide. When they leave the shop, they want to be able to carry most things that they're trying to achieve on that service call or that PM. So our big thing is getting them to connect, getting them to be mobile, but keep them standardized and looking good. As you can tell, look at the colors, look at the prints. We can customize any graphics, any lettering. It'll never wipe off. There's no fingerprints, anti-fingerprint. It's just the cleanest cart you'll ever see in healthcare.
Tim, I appreciate the time we spent together, and I think your carts are great. Now, we're going to throw it back to the studio.
Well, thank you very much. Really appreciate it. And we are back in the studio now and have our next guest with us. And so, Danielle, why don't you kick this segment off? This is something that's near and dear to your heart.
Yes, I'm so excited for this interview. So we today are going to be talking about women in leadership in HTM, a society that was started by April Lebo. And we have also Kim Rowland here as well. So welcome, you guys.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, appreciate the invite.
Of course. So why don't you tell us a little bit about women in leadership and why you started it?
So for me, I've been in the industry for many years and noticed each year that I would come, especially to a show like this, I wasn't seeing very many women. And the women that I did see, I had so much respect for, but thought there was an opportunity to kind of pull everybody together and just talk about how we could inspire and figure out ways to encourage more women to join. Obviously, from the HTM perspective, you don't see a lot of women turning wrenches and carrying the bag and being in the hospitals. And again, in some of those leadership type positions, you just didn't see a lot of women. So wanted to figure out ways that we could come together and really just encourage each other to get word out that this is an amazing industry and women should really be looking at it and to be those role models, those mentors for other women that are out there.
No, it's so great. And, I love the fact that this brings everyone together. A lot of times you do like the women in leadership and it's like the clinical engineers or the in-house folks. Like this is a great conglomeration of everyone from the OEMs, the vendors, the third-party servicers. And AAMI is so excited to be a part of this. And we're just so honored that you asked us to like support this. And then, Kim, why don't we talk, you both are wearing blue. Why don't we talk about the power blue and why blue is the color of this?
This is another power play by April. Just as female leaders, and it's all in the infancy stages, right? Mm-hmm. We just felt like leaning into the strength, and we can pick the color that we want to. And we felt like blue was a powerful color.
I thought it was Amy blue.
Yeah.
What's going
Sorry
on
to
here?
disappoint you.
Oh, boy.
And
could be a
secondly,
part of it,
it's a
though.
Amy
That would
blue
be good.
color.
That would
It's not always about you, Robert.
Well, no, it's
This
not
is a
about
women in
me.
leadership interview.
I know. Look, women in leadership, we have a female CEO.
We do.
We have an
do.
outgoing chair. That's a wonderful woman, Janet Proust.
Yes.
We've got you, our VP of HTM, our VP of Education. education. So we have a lot of women in leadership roles at AAMI.
Very fortunate. And it's very different than any environment I've ever worked in. You know, I was telling them, you know, when I started my career, I was in a 30-person shop and the only female for the whole almost 7 years I was there. So, you know, it definitely is an issue. And I think we want to not only inspire, but I think retain the women that are in this field, make them feel like they're supported.
Right.
And I think that's just so important.
And it does take trailblazers like our CEO, Pamela Aurora. It's female CIO in a healthcare setting.
Yes, and these ladies
that's a
too.
tough climb, right? And you've faced similar challenges, but once you get there, other ladies can see you in that role. You were talking about you can't become what you can't see.
Yes.
We have to be making progress, right? Have you seen progress in the last?
I think the conversations are changing, and I think it's almost a snowball effect. We had a conversation with Pamela actually just a few minutes ago, and it led to your story. You know, we do a Wednesday focus on females. It's called War Story Wednesday. WAR stands for Women Are Remarkable, and we have a 5 or 6 questionnaire that we talk to people, and I guess the best way to explain that is we normalize what got us to this place. You know, we all start at different places. Danielle, you have an incredible story, technical up to where you are, and if on the outside looking in, it seems a little unapproachable. Like you seem almost like a superhero. Like you are magnificent.
She's
at
the
what
queen
you do.
of HTM.
She really
Oh my
is.
gosh.
When I call her that,
I hate that.
she is.
But you're human, and
Yes.
let's bring it back down to a
What were
human
the
level.
steps that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, and the different steps that people can relate to, and maybe you're just getting started out, maybe you were technical, maybe you're in an administrative role, you cover the gamut. Like, I love that part about that. Pamela said she was going to contribute to our War Story Wednesday. I'm excited to
Oh,
hear
that's
her
so
good.
exciting.
Yeah.
Yes. And
Very good.
let's tell
Now,
people.
is that a
people-
podcast or what is that?
So we have a private group on LinkedIn,
Okay.
but we also, as people are okay with us sharing the story to the LinkedIn audience.
You posted there.
In our website too, there's a women
Yes.
leadership website as well where they're posted.
fantastic.
So the group's always looking for folks to feature.
Is it a published group? People could find it. Women could find it and ask to join the group, or
You can ask to join that, yes.
right.
And
I
we're
understand
always
it's a private group,
Yes.
but it's findable. You can
Yes.
search
Yes.
for it.
That is
Okay.
correct, yeah.
Okay.
And there's the website.
Yep.
It's what is it?
At womeninhtm.com.
Yeah.
Okay.
You can find us there, and then our happy hour tomorrow
Yes.
night. You want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah.
Yes, so appreciative and so fortunate that AAMI has given us the ability to have our first ever networking event. We're going to be at the Sheridan tomorrow at 4:30, and just the ability to network and bring everybody together and meet for some of us for the first time, the other women that are part of the group, and network. And really, for me, excited to hear ideas. You know, we are in our infancy stage of putting this together and looking for suggestions and ideas of what we can do to help recruit more women, to bring the word, and just what is needed in the industry for the other ladies. So
Yeah, I think it's exciting to kind of lean into that it's our first time being in person together, and that we are very much in our infancy, and we really want to target what is the need here. I think we have several different leaders in the space, female leaders, and what is it that is lacking? You know, how do we bridge that gap and help connect that that visibility to what is the connection on the female side of things. So
Absolutely. And that cocktail hour is sponsored by Provo Medical, April's company. So thank you. We're so appreciative of you guys sponsoring that
That's
as
great.
well.
And we talked just a little bit before, and of course, I know, speaking for Pamela and the whole leadership, you have our support. So we're delighted you're doing this in-person event here at eXchange. But we have the beautiful AAMI offices in Arlington. You're welcome to use our
We've
Center
invited
for
them,
Excellence,
yes,
for
and
meetings or
you.
whatever we can do to help.
And we've been supporting them. We've done a few videos. We interviewed Trimedics on Monday, actually, to talk about, their women empowerment, how they have a lot of female leaders and how they've really just developed that culture, but like a silent culture, right? I thought when Henry was talking, I loved how he said, we don't really talk about diversity. It's just part of our culture. And it was just so like that aha moment. And
be
So
nice
what
to
we
get
can
that.
what we can do to make that the norm with all of the different companies in this industry, that it just
Right.
becomes part of the culture and not something that we have to actively talk about.
Right. Well, fantastic.
So find us on LinkedIn.
Yes.
And, we're all board members, and there's 2 other board members. I don't know if you want to mention who they are.
Amber Sportsman and Adriana England are also part of the board and do a phenomenal job helping to spread the word and more encouragement for more women to join. So.
Fantastic.
Yes.
Fantastic.
And just
Well, this is cool.
Just really quick, we talk about bringing people together. This is actually the first time April and I met in person.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So I feel like I've known her forever, talking on the phone, doing
So it's
Zoom
all been
meetings, but I'd
virtual
never
and-
seen
yeah.
her live. So
Oh, there
I've
you
known
go.
her for years. But yeah, I'd never met her till last night. Yeah. So,
but being
so
part of this
amazing.
group, I feel like we've
known each other
How
forever.
many,
yeah.
how many folks do you think you'll get together at the happy hour? Do you have any sense of scale yet?
I feel like we're getting more and more.
Yeah, I think it's getting more even since we've been here. So
Getting more and more RSVPs.
yes, yes.
Do ladies, women need to RSVP to
So
attend?
we asked people to RSVP just to get a head count for food, but everyone's welcome.
Okay.
So
Okay. Very good. Well, cool. Well, I look forward to hearing about it.
Yes.
And look forward to supporting it in any way we can. So
Thank you.
and thank you guys for all you do and coming up with this idea. Thanks
I
for the
love
such a
the blue.
pleasure.
I'm gonna pretend it's Amy Blue too. It can be
Amy
both
Blue.
things, right? It can
Amy
be
Power
symbolic of 2 things at once. So, well, thank you very much.
Thank
Thanks
you
for the invite.
both.
Thanks for the
Yes.
conversation.
We really do. So, all right. So, I say this with all respect. I've said it to every get out. So, as we joke about, I've never figured out how to transition from one
Yeah, it's always an awkward
piece to
transition.
another on a
Yeah.
live stream. So, but you know what? You can actually stay a minute if you want to see what's happening on the expo floor. You can watch because Chase was just here, and now there he is. It's like magic. So, take it away.
Hello. Chase here, live on the floor. Look at that, I transported real time. So we're here over at Stairs. I am joined by Toomey. We're going to talk about just what they got going on. And little sidebar, you got a lot of cool things to share with us. So have at it, sir. What are we looking at first?
All right, so first thing we have here is the Steam Sample Pro. This is our new condensate collection device that allows us to easily and safely take steam condensate samples on a periodic basis as it relates to ST108. So we all know ST108. I think it's the price of admission to get into the trade show this year. But ST108 requires us to test our water and our steam on a periodic basis. To help our customers take that steam, we created this device that is safe and easy to use. So the temperature of the condensate coming out of this device is going to be close to the cold water utility of the water used to cool down the steam. We also have built in, this is like one of the earlier prototypes. I actually called this one Amy, this prototype here. But the final prototype or final version is going to be mostly made of stainless steel and nickel brazed componentry to also ensure that the steam sample stays pure. Anything touching the steam is going to be in contact with one of those non-reactive metal materials. Other things that are included on this universal mounting bracket is going to allow us to mount to any steam sterilizer. And really, it is a plug-and-play solution. So when you put this on your sterilizer, close the panel, anytime you need to take a sample, easily open up the panel, take the sample, put it back. It's really made to build in convenience for those people who are starting to digest the world of ST108 and be able to sample their steam a lot faster.
So the reason I like this is because it's going to allow people to budget and plan for the future while still allowing them to utilize this because you made it cross-functional between all the models.
100%. Yeah.
That's a big deal.
It is a big deal. I mean, one of the biggest, I guess it's not even really a pain point, but we all understand the reason for ST108 is to obviously lead to better patient outcomes. But the thing we don't want to do is offer an impediment into that system. So we want to make it as easy as possible. Plug and play to any of our steam sterilizers, and you're good to go.
Call that a clean transition, which we're going to transition over to the next item here on the wall.
All right, so here is the Clean Flow Pro. So we all know about instrument staining, we all know about wet packs, and so this device here is going to help us eliminate those types of situations. So the Clean Flow Pro boasts an industry-leading 0.1 micron filtration that removes those excess particulates from the solution, but it also helps us remove excess condensate from the steam lines. And so we feel that because of the stainless steel pleated filter inside of this housing here is going to lead to better steam quality. We've had this for a couple of years now, and there's even been some instances where we were able to plug in the solution and fully eliminate wet packs for that facility. It is a really nice quality solution, and one thing we like to do, just pointed you down here, when the condensate is removed from the steam line, it goes into the steam trap. And one thing we love to pair with it is the water cooling equipment with the Clean Flow Pro, just to ensure that the condensate going down the drain is in proportion to International Plumbing Code. Yep. And so that is so you have sampling your steam, you now have clean steam. And then the last part here is really to feed water into our steam generators. So we all know scale. We're in Phoenix. This is one of the areas where scale is like a really big issue here. And to make sure that we don't have heater burnout of our integral and standalone steam generators, we created the ScaleBack Pro. It utilizes this unique phosphate cartridge and traps the scale in this aqueous solution. And so it prevents the scale from going down the line and, like, again, burning out our heaters, depositing any sort of things onto our loads, and making sure that we're having as good and clean of a sterilization process as possible. And so this is another thing we love. We love pairing everything here at Steris. So whenever we have the ScaleBack Pro trapping that scale in its aqueous solution, we love to pair it with like our auto flush and drain or our automatic blowdown equipment, just to ensure that after we trap that scale in the solution, we can fully flush it out. So again, ScaleBack Pro, feeding our steam generator with good quality water. We then have the CleanFlow Pro actually cleaning the steam. And then once you have a sustainable, good steam system, the Steam Sample Pro is going to help you be able to take a nice quality steam sample in accordance with ST108.
So personally, this is paramount, because a lot of us that are going in there doing the boiler inspections, inspecting the steam generator from a biomed standpoint, we don't want those heating elements popping. We don't want to have a beach day when we're opening up the boiler. So this will make that non-existent, or at least as long as you're maintaining the filters. But this is a transition that's going to allow to obviously follow the new ANSI regulations and, you know, meet and exceed, and like I said, move to the next generation of great steam quality.
Yeah, here at Steris, we have over like 1,300 field service personnel, and our job is to ensure that we are supplying our customers with the best quality possible when it comes to our sterilization equipment. But we obviously understand the world of steam sterilization starts prior to you hitting our sterilizer. So we wanted to make sure that we had a full suite and a full family of solutions to help our customers with their steam real-world issues.
All right. Well, Toomey, I appreciate you joining us. Steris, as always, innovating, meeting the regulatory compliance, and just making sure that we're going to the next level when it comes to maintaining that good quality steam. So, Danielle, that's all we got over here on the floor. I'll send it back over to you.
Fantastic.
Perfect.
Well, thank you.
Thank you, guys.
And boy, it's perfect to have just visited the Steris booth, because our next guest, well, one of our guests that's back is Pamela Aurora, CEO of AAMI.
And the cord goes on the left.
And then our next guest coming in right now is our incoming chairman of the board of AAMI and CEO emeritus of Steris. So we just did a remote interview with Steris at their booth. So we're carrying the flag, Walt.
Great transition.
I'm sure they did a great job. Better than if I was there.
They did a fantastic job. So thanks for taking a minute to sit down with us. So incoming chair of AAMI, but as background, how long have you been involved with AAMI?
Well, it depends on what you mean by involved.
All right, your definition. We'll let you define the scope.
30 or 40 years, something like that.
Oh, and get the mic right up on you so we can just pull it towards you, the microphone in front of you.
Floating in front of you.
This one right here.
This one here.
Pull this one in front of you.
This one.
Yeah, pull it closer.
Thank you. That's what
Get
I'm
that
looking
beautiful
for.
mellow tone.
Thank you. Okay.
All right.
It's really hard to say. I've had people in the service business of hospital devices for probably 30 or 40 years. I have to think back hard. 1982.
Okay.
Well, whenever that was, and so that's 40 years or so. But actively involved with the running of AAMI, very different. And so I've been on the board, I think, either 5 or 6 years. Certainly 5, possibly 6, maybe 7.
Very active. Very active.
And every year the number seems to change.
Yeah, it does. That's the problem. See, if it would just stick around to 3 years, I'd be just 3 years.
That'd be the real problem if you kept answering 3 years every year for the rest of your life. That would definitely be a problem. So what are you most excited about coming in as chair? What do you see as sort of on the horizon for AAMI?
In many respects, I'm not excited particularly about being chair, because I've been chair-elect for 2 years. I've been on the executive committee for 4 years, I believe, and maybe 5. And so, I've been actively involved with the folks,
right,
with the management and the folks. So, what I really have seen the last 3 or 4 years is a really nice evolution among the staff. So it's you guys that make me excited, because the work that you're doing and the good work that we're seeing both in the field and in your day-to-day work is just really nice. And I think the improvements that you guys have made the last 3 or 4 or 5 years are just fantastic. Hopefully we can continue on that path. I'm not sure as rapid, but I hope we can continue on a rapid path of improvement and move forward. So
it's in the first 10 minutes of this live stream, you would have really wondered. We were trying to get settled in. We came from a great keynote presentation, but we were a little frazzled. But
I actually got a note from Janet that you were looking for me and on the first floor, which is why I was headed down the escalator.
we saw you going down. It was like a scene out of a movie.
It was like a movie. Like
and I just turned left, and I said, "Wait a minute, that's got to be it."
Yeah, we saw your head like going down and like disappearing.
Oh,
Yeah. So we talked a little bit when we had our outgoing chair, Janet and Pamela, were here with us about some of the things she is proud of over the last couple of years and trends and things like that. So let me ask a similar question of you. What do you think are the biggest sort of disruptions or innovations or changes that we can expect in healthcare technology? You've been doing this long enough to kind of see the curves. What do you see out there?
Yeah, I mean, there are a lot, right? Many of them have been hammering at us for a few years. Cybersecurity is a real, unfortunately, it's not one of the positive changes, but the cybersecurity issues are, just getting more and more difficult. We're getting better and better, but unfortunately, the bad guys are too. So, we really have to work on that. And there's, real opportunity for major damage, and we just, as a society, if you will, now I'm talking about the healthcare group, we really do have to be careful and get better and better at defending those kind of problems or being able to fix them quickly when they occur. And that one, again, it's really not fast moving. It's been kind of creeping on us for, 5 years, 8 years, 10 years. It's just they're getting better and better at it. Their tools are getting better and better, which means we have to make our tools better and better. And that brings you to AI, which is, the hot topic of the day. I will have to tell you that when I was in business school from 1977 to 79, my wife worked at the Artificial Intelligence Lab at Stanford. So it's not a new phenomena.
It's not. I thought that this came up with that last week or something.
And they'd been around, before we got there. So, I would guess it was early 70s when they started that. And, had people just absolutely dedicated to that kind of work. But as the computer's gotten faster and faster, it can process faster.
We reached a tipping point.
It gets better. We can do better things with artificial intelligence, and the machines start acting more like real intelligence, which is interesting, difficult, has great opportunity, I think, for improvement. I know there's a lot of people. There's been a lot of doomsday conversation, particularly more, I think, 5 to 7 years ago than now, about 60% of people's work is going to go away and they're going to have nothing to do and the economy is going to go to hell in a handbasket. Nobody's complaining about washing machines, washing clothes and television and their iPhones, and we seem to find a way to continue to do more and more, not put everybody out of work. And my personal view is it will be an enhancement of human capabilities, and we have just a lot of opportunity. But there's opportunity to go down a bad path too. So we have to watch that. But I would say, really in terms of at a high level, the technology side of the world, that's probably the biggest issue. The other thing we have not faced, the world is slowing down in the growth of the population, and most of the industrialized world, in fact, I think all of the industrialized world, the birth rate is break even or less. And the United States, to its benefit, is about break even, but we have immigration, and many of the other countries in the world do not have the same level of immigration that we do, so we've been able to continue to grow the population. It's hard to grow if you don't grow the population. That doesn't mean it can't be done. Grow the economy, grow all the kind of things we would like to have. It's darn hard to grow if you don't have a growth in the population. And that is absolutely going to affect healthcare, right? The baby boom. I'm almost the dead center of the baby boom. I'm a year or two ahead of dead center, and my compatriots are dropping like flies. And when we go away, there's a generation behind us, or half a generation behind us, that's a lot smaller. And then our children, who are now 40, is a decent sized group. It's a big group, but they're going to go through the same waves.
Then it gets smaller.
So that combination is going to be an interesting one. Watching as the world doesn't grow. Most of us who were over 30, it lived with the concept that the world was growing too fast in population, right? And that we were, and of course, you go back to Malthus's theory, and he said the world's going to come. We were going to come to an way before now, and we were all going to starve because we wouldn't have enough food. And we always find a way, and which is why I think moving forward is a great thing. But I would guess those are the big ones, and healthcare since the great spending in healthcare, or the great opportunities for doing good work in healthcare, is largely later in life. As we pass through, there's going to be shrinkage. There's going to be shrinkage in healthcare in the future.
And it's so interesting that you said that, because I was at Mass General Brigham last week at a symposium for healthcare, and they had talked about, the triangle, right? So you want to see the population age-wise small at the top and growing, and they showed what it currently looks like, and it was almost like an hourglass.
That's right.
And they said that that's really concerning for the future, because, the people being born should outweigh the people dying or passing away, and that's not what's happened.
And we have built, not just the United States, but the United States is a clear example. We've built our social web systems, Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security,
based on that pyramid shape.
Based on a pyramid. Some people might call it a Ponzi scheme.
Pyramid scheme.
Some people might call something similar a Ponzi scheme. But I mean, the whole idea was that it was okay. Particularly my grandparents, they worked maybe 5 or 6 years on Social Security, and they got full Social Security for a very long time. They lived a long time, and that has continued down the path. And that works as long as you're growing the population. If the population slows or shrinks, as it will some points in time, it makes those things more difficult. That's going to be a challenge for us. No question.
Right. There aren't enough hospital beds and caregivers, and you've been a part of putting together the panel tomorrow on hospital at home or hospital without walls. We're going to have to find different ways to deliver care because of this shape to our demographics, right, Pamela?
Interestingly enough, we may have too many hospital beds, right? On going forward.
At some point,
we'll see.
Absolutely,
it's a great It's a great challenge. And another thing that people forget, though, when they talk about that, is the population moves, right? It has been moving to the southeast for a long time. That puts even more pressure on the north central and northeast. Because they're not growing as quickly, or they're shrinking.
Right, we're a big country. It's not even here.
So you can't just say America. You have to say this town in America. Small towns have shrunk. Cities were growing. Now we're starting to see major cities, particularly in the Northeast and some of the far west, shrinking. That's a change, and that change is felt at a local level. Since healthcare is local, we're going to see an exacerbation of those kind of things.
Yeah.
Well, with the keynote tomorrow around Hospital Without Walls, what are you thinking some of the challenges are going to be, or areas that AAMI will need to respond to help the workforce be ready for it?
Yeah, Hospital Without Walls / home care has been, some people say Brazil is the country of the future and always will be. Some people might say the Hospital Without Walls is the healthcare of the future and always will be. We've moved, we have changed what the walls look like, right? The major universities, or like university hospitals, the large hospitals who do the most complex work, they've done well because they're doing the most complex work. And then things like surgical centers and ambulatory surgery centers and dock and box kind of things, which are still boxes. It's just
smaller boxes.
They're smaller and they're spread around, and that is a good thing for consumers. People want to have easy access and less bureaucracy and all the things that come along with being smaller. They can't do everything that a full-service hospital can do, or particularly a university research type center. Doing things in the home is an interesting problem, and the biggest problem is, we talk a lot about the cost of healthcare. When 60 to 70% of your cost is labor, it's kind of hard to drive it around and be more efficient. And if you really think hard about that, that's the thing to eliminate. Now, The good news is there are certain things that we can do like we're doing now, right? We can record it, or we can be talking live to people, and that will help that problem, that phenomenon that is difficult. But a lot of healthcare is hands-on work, right? Not just showing on a TV. And so,
well, that is the efficiency of the hospital. That's where it came from, right?
Yeah.
Instead of the doctor getting in the wagon and going house
And
to
that
house.
continuity, and the continuity of care when you're actually in the hospital.
There is the reason that you wait on the doctor doesn't wait on you. And the vast majority of people don't make what doctors make, and so it's efficient for the economy to do that. So, so I just say, distributed healthcare clearly is happening. We're going to see more and more. The great work that can be done in distribution of healthcare is the components of healthcare that we don't think of as hospital healthcare, right? Diet, being able to take care of yourself, the entire ecosystem around, and that I think is a truly great opportunity. But again, there are a lot of people that just aren't good at it themselves, and it's going to be difficult. So I do think we will see more and more distribution. I do think you will always find large, complex hospitals.
Sure.
Whether they will always stay like department stores or they turn into more specific specialty cares like orthopedic hospitals, things like that, that's not clear to me. I've seen both tries, and we somehow keep coming back to the department store. But I do think there's a lot of activity.
Those general services around, right? Like you're talking about the
activity.
efficiency of concentrating nursing services, anesthesia, all the other stuff.
And it's the rare
sterilization.
Yeah. Well, sterilization is super important. It can only be done. No, but I mean, it's the rare place, the rare hospital, let's call it, that calls itself a hospital anymore, right? It's a health system.
Health system.
The health system has multiple hospitals typically, so it's more geographically positive for the individuals, and different types. They now almost everyone has, a few surgery centers and a few doc in the boxes as a part of their health system. I think you'll see that continue.
Well, tomorrow we will hear some great use cases from Children's Hospital of Philadelphia and Intermountain, and we'll have some people weighing in on how they see it evolving. But the number of different devices, it looks different than when it's in the hospital setting. So I do think for our HTM professionals that are here at eXchange, they're going to need to pivot a little bit to be able to work through what is quite fragmented at first, and then over time it'll get into some mainstreams of areas where it's deemed efficient in a particular way.
I agree, and as the complexity of the devices going out rises, there will be more, again, need for somebody who actually knows how to fix it to get out to it, right? Or install it, for that matter. Install it, fix it.
Kind of comes back to what we were talking about earlier with the access too.
Right.
Being able to get people there when they need it, and that's the problem, and that creates an access issue to care.
Right. Absolutely. Well, it's interesting. This helped focus my thinking, because I will frequently substitute terms. Hospital without walls, hospital at home.
Right.
The hospital without walls is probably the better description. It's med devices somewhere other than in that large academic medical center or acute care center, whatever that means.
And I'm trying to remember when I visited the second surgery center in the nation. The first was in Texas. I want to say Dallas area. The second one was in a relatively small town in Minnesota, and I think that might have been 1985. So it's not like we haven't been playing this game for a while, right? And home care way before that.
That's where it started.
Before I joined the.
That's where the surgeon came to your house with the porcelain.
Well, that's a very different kind of home. Yeah, right.
Sounds like a horror film.
That's where it started.
And there again, the economics have driven that, and particularly the specialization. Economics of specialization of physicians and other caregivers has driven that, because you can't put 7 of them in a car and drive them around and make it efficient. I mean, it just can't be done. Now, again, there are certain things that you can do, and it's being done, right? but the pandemic radically increased the amount of visits by, by internet.
Virtual
Basically
home
internet,
health,
by
yeah.
internet. There may be other methods, but generally internet. And that has stuck, not as much as during the pandemic, but it has stuck, and I think we're going to see more of that. And we got a reimbursement problem in that regard, but I think people are working through that.
Yeah, the low acuity really has a sweet spot with the telehealth, and
Right.
you're right, it has stuck. But for those that were kind of the pioneers, there wasn't reimbursement.
Right.
There was reasons why they still wanted to do it, but there wasn't reimbursement, and COVID actually helped to accelerate that reimbursement aspect.
And I think most would argue that the reimbursement is still not quite what it needs to be
Fair.
if we're going to see a switch, but it's certainly better than it was 4 years ago.
Absolutely. Or organizations could lose less money in some
right.
respects.
Yeah, exactly.
But in the case of the home health aspect, similar to telehealth, there's some challenges around the billing aspects. And we'll hear in the panel tomorrow just how very creative aspects are being applied there, because really the billing cycle and how that's approached hasn't really accelerated to match, let's say, the demand and interest in that area. It'll be interesting. I think people are thoroughly going to enjoy the panel tomorrow.
It will be very good.
I think it'll
All
be
right,
great.
so-
Looking forward to it.
So one last question, and we talked about this yesterday with Janet and Pamela. We all sort of threw out what's the most exciting thing in health technology that's going to happen over the next 10 or 15 years? What do you see that's like, people go, I cannot believe we can do that now in healthcare or whatever it might be.
I'm shocked that everybody hasn't just said the advancement in sterilization methods.
Oh, okay. There you go.
It's absolutely stunning, and it's one of the backbones of the healthcare system. So
We couldn't have healthcare without it.
Yeah.
no, I mean,
Absolutely.
and I mean,
Like the lab, you can't.
I'm joking in a way, but if you think about sterilization technology, which is really what allowed things like surgery.
Right now, and this is
to
the
occur.
important part. Pull that mic right in there so we can
Oh
see.
no, this isn't that. It's not that important. But if you think about, that's what allowed surgery, really,
Right.
because if you go back far enough, the late 1800s and early 1900s, before sterilization was well ensconced in the system. The first stage of recovery after surgery was called infection, and then after infection,
survive
if
it.
you lived that one, you got better. But so it is interesting. But really, the technologies haven't changed a great deal. There's been a few drop-ins over the last 20 or 30 years, and specifically on sterilizing medical devices. That is single-use medical devices that must be sterile. So Band-Aids or pacemakers or hips or knees, any of those things. About 40 to 45% of those things are sterilized with radiation, and it comes from cobalt-60, which is a nuclear active, or it's an emitter of rays. And so we don't have enough of that in the world these days, and so we are moving much of that to very high power X-ray, and there's a whole series of reasons why that works and why it's really good. But it really is novel for the current time. So in that part of the world, which I of course have spent a fair amount of my time in, I'm pretty excited about that. I think it is and will solve what otherwise would have been shortage problems that would have been pretty damaging to the system.
And I'd assume no less polluting, or whatever the right term would be.
Yeah, I don't think so. I'm thinking out loud now, but the thing that is a better use is because the cobalt just moves back to cobalt 59, and
Okay, so it's
over time it takes 20, 30 years, but it does.
It just
But so it's not a pollutant issue. But having said that, the nice thing about it is, though, since that emits 24/7, you have to run the facilities 24/7, or you're wasting
the
energy.
isotopes.
You're wasting energy.
Right.
However you generate the energy, you're wasting it.
So capacity and how you manage that is important.
And high power X-ray, you turn the switch off and you're done. And you turn
And I
the
assume
switch
the
on,
only
turn
thing
the
you have
switch
to move
off.
back and forth is electricity?
It is electricity, yeah,
That's
absolutely.
it. You're not hauling any input around.
It is electricity, exactly.
Yeah.
So, so it is a,
What percentage of the market is that now? Is it a novel technology that hadn't really scaled out yet, or is it really?
absolutely. I mean, it is scaling up, but it is still small, I would say.
Okay.
Less than 10% for sure.
Okay.
But still small.
So
But-
that's a big
but
change.
growing fast.
Cool.
So growing
Yeah,
fast.
yesterday I was talking about the home health or hospital
Mm-hmm.
without walls, but the other thing that I think is a game changer is there's been a lot of work on infrastructure to get data within healthcare so you can make more informed decisions.
Right.
I think that aggregation of data and applying AI on top of it, we finally are starting to get things at a volume where you can see certain patterns and be able to do some predictions in certain directions that will change healthcare quite a bit too. But it doesn't get more fundamental than sterilization like you're describing, Walt. Absolutely.
Well, I was kidding about it. I mean, it
No,
is
seriously.
in that space. It is a major achievement. It is. I was kidding about it being the most impressive thing in healthcare.
Well, our work's gonna
most
change
exciting thing in
things.
healthcare.
Pretty impressive.
No, but I do agree with you. If you have dealt with elderly parents or grandparents or whatever, which we have obviously,
Right.
or elderly people, when you see the complexity and see how the multiple caregivers rarely get all the information that they really need to do their job, and when you see the mistakes that are made because of that, if we can find a way to collect it all and get it collected by all the various caregivers, and that includes drugstores. It's not
Right.
just pharmacy and whatever, but if we can collect it all and then have a brain that can mash it all together a bit, so that a physician or whoever the caregiver is can utilize it and make sense of it, it would be a great help, because even the best people without the right information can make pretty bad mistakes. And I agree with you. If
Yeah.
we can get that done, that is a monumental piece of work.
Huge.
Monumental piece of work.
Just eliminating the polypharmacy problem. I'm always amazed when the path to figuring this out is let's have an 85-year-old patient
right.
carry all their medical information with them to give to the next caregiver.
Well, let's have
the error rate is near 100%.
Let's have an 85-year-old patient remember what
Right.
they're taking.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
And
The blue pill. Red
Well, then
pill.
they say,
Yeah.
just bring the old bottles. Well, they bring the wrong bottle.
Right.
The one
Well-
that was prescribed 2 years ago that shouldn't be there anymore.
And they're taking 17 supplements that they've not told anybody
not told
about.
anyone, yeah.
Oh, well,
It is
but-
true. It
but,
is so true.
Yeah. Oh well, no, but there are actually so many things. Truthfully, across every, I've been on.
I can hear somebody talking.
Yeah, somebody talked on mine.
I heard it as well.
Okay,
So you have to
I
learn
would-
like me to just sit there.
ignore
dazed.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, just kind of ignore it. And you're just gonna wrap.
I will. Yeah, I think we're trying to wrap up. Is
Yeah.
what the
Yeah.
thing is. So, I will just wrap up instead of saying what I was going to say.
Well, thank you, Walt.
It's always-
Congratulations
it's
on
al-
being incoming chair. We are so
it-
excited to work with you, and we're so grateful for your support.
It's always a pleasure. I have to say, following Janet is a tall order. So
Yeah.
I now I have to actually work for the next couple of years. Thank you very
we
much.
appreciate all
Thank you.
you've done and
Absolutely.
will continue to do. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Walt. And thank you, Pamela. Danielle, we're done.
There you go.
All right. We'll see you tomorrow.
Sounds good.
Thanks.
No, we have another show on the floor. Bryant Hawkins with Siemens.
Oh, we do. We have
Yeah,
another
that's why we
remote.
that's
All right. Tell the
Wrap it up.
voice in my ear. We
Yeah.
need a few more minutes.
Yeah.
All right. Let's go. Let's throw it to the floor right now in the Siemens Health and Ears.
Hey, this is Brian Hawkins. I'm back again. I'm here with Siemens Healthineers booth. I'm here with a good friend from Siemens. Introduce yourself to us, man.
Hi, my name is Glenn Carlisle. I'm the product portfolio manager for TeamPlay Fleet, your self-service data and document dashboard, TeamPlay Fleet Connect, the ability to send that data and documents for equipment and service directly to your asset management solution. And what we're here to talk about today, ActSafe Cybersecurity, really partnering that best-in-class visibility to your medical device software with managed services, because we're experts in medical devices, and we want to make sure that you've got the uptime that you need.
Right. Now, you mentioned cybersecurity. What are some of the solutions you think you guys can bring to this cybersecurity challenge that's going on?
Gotcha. So, I mean, there's a lot of things to dissect. I think it's probably important to understand the current state of healthcare cybersecurity. A lot of people don't know things such as, while your typical IT, you might replace a laptop or do a drastic software update after 3 to 5 years to resolve these vulnerabilities. You don't really do that in medical devices. They last for decades sometimes. And then additionally, these new medical devices can take 5 to 7 years in order to come to market, which means the vulnerability on these could be 5 to 7 years worth of vulnerabilities newly introduced to your system. And this takes the place also for things like infusion pumps are common to wander around. So if you don't have visibility, if you don't have tracking on your network, and you can install third-party software onto your medical devices, so it's hard to get that tracking. And then these infusion pumps wander into the closet, which means you have to order more. That's additional cost that's just not necessary. And worse still, now you've got these vulnerable devices hiding in that closet, become prime attack vectors for someone who might hack into your network. And there's a myriad of other things I could talk about as far as even just the other day, there was a new vulnerability found in Windows operating system. So 2024-300.78, and that's a proximity vulnerability using the Wi-Fi exploit. So again, look into it. There's more to know. There's government interventions as far as the incentives and disincentives. There's just a lot going on right now. So we're basically here to make sure you, one, have that visibility because you can't protect what you don't know about. And then two, to make sure if you do have gaps between your medical or IT security teams, we can come in with that expertise or just additional bandwidth so you can take action.
When you're sitting outside your fabulous booth, what's going on inside your booth? What you guys got going on here? People in here at a classroom. What's going on in that booth?
Yeah, I'm actually just about to present on ActSafe cybersecurity, so if you're nearby, I do recommend coming over. I'll be presenting again tomorrow. You can swing by the booth, I'll do it for you one-on-one. But we've got all sorts of things from Team Play Fleet, Fleet Connect, as I mentioned. We've got our online shop, so another free tool that allows you to expedite that part clarification, that part ordering, and service tracking whole way through. We've also got things like our RLTLS if you want to have better tracking of where your equipment are. So while ActSafe does provide some basic utilization and location tracking. This is a lot more in depth if you're looking for that optimizations. We do have so many things like value partnerships or shared agreements. I really just encourage everyone to come on over. We'll try not to talk your ear off, but we'll guide with whatever you're most interested in.
Mr. Carlisle, I appreciate you taking time to come talk with me. I understand you got to go jump on stage in the next minute or two, so thank you again for your time and wish you the best, sir.
All right. Well,
Thanks, Bryant.
yeah, thank you very much. We appreciate it. Go get on stage and do what you got to do. And Danielle, I tried to wrap it out already. Now I really am going to wrap it out.
Yeah, now we're really going to close.
Now we're really done.
Should we thank Chase and Bryant for their time being on the
absolutely.
floor? I mean, they are just so great on stage. Again, check out Chase's podcast, The Bearded Biomed, and Bryant Hawkins is HTM on the Line. They have some great content. They're huge supporters of AAMI, and we love them just as much. So please go support them and check out their blogs.
Fantastic. Can't finish stronger than that. Thank you, Danielle. I'll see you tomorrow.
We'll see you tomorrow.
All right.